you are a self-proclaimed, highly caffeinated time hacker. Yeah. And I was like, my team and everyone was like, we want to be that. Tell us what that means.
Oh, I've gotten so much more calm in the last several years, but I'm definitely highly caffeinated. That's for sure. I think productivity is something I've naturally just had to get better at as a CEO, and especially as a working mother. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old daughter. I've been building companies since I was 25 years old and had kids along the way. And so honestly, time is our most precious commodity. And especially when you're a busy mom running business, you have to be really mindful of that. And so I feel like I've found every which way to time hack. And I do think that I'm a productivity expert for sure.
Okay, so we're going to need all of those tips and tools today. For sure. I think there's a lot of our audience that really wants to know how to use their time more wisely, understand how to be more productive and effective. But I want to start off by, actually, let's just dive into that. Let's talk about that. Like, what did you used to believe time management was? And now, having been so effective for this many years, what have you now come to the conclusion that what time management actually is?
Freedom of dollar is what we all start to chase, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting financial success for yourself, for your family. And so freedom of dollar is something that when I started my journey, that was one component of building the business. But really, it became about freedom of time. Even if you have that level of success with freedom of dollar, we still all have the same amount of time. And so it really is about that freedom of time and being able to enjoy the journey along the way. I want to be able to do what I call the $1,000 tasks, not the $10 tasks. And for me, $1,000 task is when I get home, I want to cook with my family. Can I outsource that? Absolutely. But that to me is not a $1,000 task. That's a $10 task for some others. But for me, spending time with my family is like the number one most important place where I'm trying to keep my time freedom. It's really, really important that I think about tasks in that way. It's something I really encourage. I mentor so many women in business, and we have a lot of responsibility. Like, there is this extra layer of responsibility. I'm not saying, I have such an incredible partner, such an incredible husband, and we co-parent, we do all the things. But as a working mom, there's just that extra layer of a million things that have to get done. As a CEO, everyone wants a piece of your time. How you spend your time it's everything. And so really thinking about what are your $1,000 tasks and just focusing on those, and everything else, finding a way to either delegate it or delete it. Do we even actually have to do it? I have this process of do, delegate, delete. So every couple of weeks I'll do a time audit.
I love this already, by the way.
Yeah, I do a time audit because your seasons are changing. Like what you're doing right now, travel's insane, whatever else it is, do a time audit. So we do a time audit and I take a look at how am I actually spending my time? And I'm intentional about my time. How do I want to spend my time? And so if I see, certain habits and certain things and I'm like, okay, no, this has to come off our plate. This can be delegated off. Am I spending too much time in one area? This can apply to anyone at any point, is to do a time audit and to take control back of it. And it's also important, I think, when you ask the question of how do I view time now? I used to have this mantra that I used to say every day because things are so crazy busy and running 2 companies, the podcast, the kids, all the stuff. Every morning I'd wake up, Jay, and I'd say, I have all the time in the world. I have all the time in the world. I have all the time in the world. But I didn't. And I didn't believe it inside because I didn't have all the time in the world. And now a lot has shifted where I actually do believe I have all the time in the world. Mm. And that just comes with presence. That just means that wherever I'm going to be, and I learned how to be really present in everything that I was in with such intention that I did have all the time in the world. I think that those are some ways that have really shifted my perspective about time. But I do think it's the most important commodity that we have. It's the biggest gift that you can give yourself to everyone around you. And I think the world is changing so fast. We're such an on-demand everything. Everything is so speedy. Everything coming at us from social media to life to work, everyone's life. It's not a CEO's life that's busy. Every single person that's probably listening feels exactly that feeling. It's so busy. But is it busy or is it full? Right? And that's the shift. I was busy before and I learned how to make my life going from busy to intentionally full with purpose.